Hey guys, what is up? It's Dusty here, and welcome back to another crypto video. Today, we're taking a good look at Vechain VET. Now, Vechain is a coin I've covered so ridiculously often on the channel. Mostly because it's a coin with proven use case and actually ridiculous partnerships. Yes, guys, Vechain is a project that has ridiculously good partnerships. DNVGL, PWC, NRCC, I don't know too much about that one, but Walmart China is amongst them, and they have connections to the freaking China government. It's not a joke. Last couple of days, some more information regarding partnerships have been coming out. For example, Verge Hospital is launching a blockchain-based IFV system together with Vechain. It's pretty damn crazy. So today, as I just said, we're going to be talking about that and about the Vechain VET price. So, little history about where I got into VET. I actually bought VEN, which was what it was called back in the day, purely because of the memes back around that time. We're talking 2017 somewhere, most likely, before the transition from VEN to VET. And one of the things I noticed back then was that they were going to have some sort of change. VEN to VET was, I believe, that they made it so you had 100 times more coins. So the value, of course, went divided by 102. Maybe it was 1,000. And I was just looking at my wallet because I didn't know too much about that the price would also go down. I just noticed, wow, I got so many more coins. I'm rich now, right? What happened? I'm so wow. And boom, now I saw that the price also diminished like crazy. But on the chart, it was just something really vague that I never really witnessed before. However, from that point on forward, I've always been holding it, which is a really, really long time right now. And I only kept buying more at points later, because then I started to finally get into like, what type of partnerships does it have? What is it trying to do? What is the plan? What is it achieved already? And I noticed, wow, Vechain is actually one of those projects that's already like 10 steps ahead of a lot of the competition. So one of the things which really got me into it was the verified key or verified car or verified key, I think. They just basically have this technology where if you, for example, this is just an example of what they have, right? I'm not specific with all those names. One of the things which they have is if you want to get a shoe from Adidas, a really special edition one, they will make sure that it's a proper original because of the QR code. If you want to get some wine from a winery, you can track on the bottle exactly what freaking grape tree it came from. If you want some milk, right, you need some milk, you can check exactly what motherfreaking cow it came from in what area of the world, and so forth and so on. That idea is so beautiful to me because it's done via blockchain, and that's exactly what Vechain is going through here, supply chain. And of course, supply chain can be broadened really far. One of the other things they're doing, of course, is in this whole pandemic, which I don't want to say out loud too much. You can, of course, track the vaccines. Hopefully you understand me without, me having to be too obvious right there. And another thing, I guess, is this tool chain. Vechain has a partnership here where tool chain is basically the BAAS blockchain as a service, basically, where they're making it so that you can make anything that you want through Vechain. Another key and a really interesting concept, which we'll dive a little bit more into as we move on here. So let's quickly talk about the price. All right, the long-term price doesn't matter too much. I have made so many videos on my channel talking about me buying Vechain at prices like half a cent and whatnot. Check them back, all right? They're all on my channel. 2018, 2020, they are everywhere because I've bought this crypto so many freaking times. But that's all in the past. Right now, we're talking about should we buy into it? Well, right now, the situation following this analyst is pretty damn amazing, right? If we were to be a couple days prior, because this is from a couple days prior, we should buy into it, then most likely this area sell, then buy back in cheaper, and then wait for a breakout. Logically looking at this, a breakout to the upside would not be guaranteed. You're actually following a little bit of a downtrend, a little bit of a bearish pennant almost if the impulse were to be bigger, but just kind of moving downwards and then another symmetrical triangle. So I would usually not consider this to be a bullish breakout necessarily. Well, let's see what we got here. We got exactly what he expected. However, we fell down below one of his critical supports, basically retesting the channel here and then not really breaking out. You might consider this a breakout because we did get the quote-unquote breakout. We didn't get the confirmation though, which I think is key. Exactly what I mean with confirmation is if there's any breakout of any sort, which can look like this, right? A huge candle that finally extends above the triangle. If the next candle is not the same color and not bullish in the same sense, I don't buy into it because I do not trust it. Now, in this specific sense, you could have actually bought into it and taken some pretty interesting gains here, 40 or so %. But that would have been some guessing, or it would be you just buying because of a breakout like this and then maybe a second candle. It wouldn't be a real big move that I would normally take. Then again, it would have worked out. And that also kind of makes me question here, what exactly do we consider to be a proper breakout? I mean, we did break out. You can obviously see that to the upside. But then again, we didn't really break out severely. I mean, very often it's like an impulse where this is the first impulse right here that we got about 68% or so. And then from this breakout on forward, which we saw here, we'd have to go up about 68% or so, which still leaves a lot of room for Vechain to go to about 19 or so cent. Right now we are trading at about 13 or so, leaving us really worried like, well, did we really break out or are we just continuing onwards? Is this just like another top that's being hit but not really forward? I mean, is this really a breakout or is it just a continuation of the small little uptrend that we saw? Not quite sure about that. I would personally say it's not too much of a real breakout just quite yet. The breakout is actually on one of my charts here to be seen in the near future. I was actually making a video yesterday. I was too tired to actually upload it though. I did say it over in the Patreon Discord that this is a good area to buy in because of the triangle and because of course the resistance, the support line, just buying into it following Bitcoin. Now, another one here that I've talked about in Patreon that, again, I'll talk about more in depth over in there is basically this little resistance line at about 14 cents. You can see it is acting as a major top. This entire zone is important, yes, mostly following the last couple of weeks as well. Just look back, you'll see this is an area of a lot of interest here, about 14 to about 15.5 or 17, 15.5 or 50.7 cents. It's a really important area. Vechain needs to cross this before we are actually a little bit more bullish, but most specifically 14 cents with confirmation. Right now, we did get a little bit of a bull trap going on right there before heading back into the triangle. I would like to kind of cross out, so basically come out of there, break out, and then stay above there, as I do see an ascending triangle in here, basically meaning that people just keep buying it up at higher prices. These are the bulls fighting against the bears, which stay on one little level. This is usually a bullish thing. Here the bulls broke out for a little second. However, it's a trap because even though the bulls broke out, it wasn't sustainable, fell right back down towards the support line, and right now we are retesting that. I think there's going to be a crucial moment here. Maybe we get rejected, maybe we break through, maybe it's going to go sideways like most of these scenarios, like for example here. Here's one analyst who wrote a little post, I think yesterday or the day before, Vechain ascending triangle breakout on the 4 hour. Here's the ascending triangle which he referred to, and here's the breakout, right? But what happened? A little bit later, you can see, boom, we came right back into the triangle and actually going sideways from there on forward. These are breakouts, yet if you don't get confirmation like I just told you, I don't take them. Why? Because this is what happens really often. You get a breakout, but a fake out, and you go sideways. That's, again, what I also expected to happen right here. It didn't, but then again, it kind of did. Now, it's because of the huge fluctuations in Vechain, the huge volatility, that you might think that this is a huge breakout, a huge move. It actually wasn't. It's actually still going sideways in my own opinion. But then again, it's definitely up for some debate. I would personally say, though, that it's a little bit scary to trade breakouts like this if you're not too certain that it's actually a breakout. Then again, what I was referring to just now with the China back thing, they literally have connections with the Chinese government. If you don't know about it, Vechain and HBAR, I would say, are really top tier cryptos that have official partnerships that are just proven with proven use case and whatnot, but Vechain is one step further for having a partnership with the Chinese government. You might be confused, Dusty, what are you talking about? Well, if you check through Vechain, you'll notice that a week ago or so, they had a meeting with 3 Chinese government officials. Why or what happened? Well, most likely, like George said, most likely China is already working on the digital yuan with Vechain, or at least in some way, shape, or form being connected to Vechain. The government is meeting up with them. The Chinese government has said before, we are trying to kind of diminish all cryptocurrencies out there. They've been trying that for years now, but most likely they're doing that because of some CBDC usage. We've before said XRP could come into play in all of this, but we don't know too much. What's sure, though, is that they've been really trying to diminish all crypto, yet Vechain they seem to get a liking towards. Why? Maybe because they see potential. Maybe because they see potential in this blockchain tech. Who knows? Maybe they see potential as the BAAS with toolchain from Vechain. We don't exactly know. What we do know, however, is the connections are there, and it could be that Vechain is going to be one of the most properly regulated cryptos in the entire world because China's government could be behind them. And that's huge, guys. That is huge. Now, as a target, I just slammed my microphone. Sorry for that, guys, if you just got a little disturbance in your ear. If we're talking about partnership for the near future, I would say that while this pandemic is happening, Vechain will just keep expanding like crazy. Here's the article which I just referred to. Vechain, DNV Jail, and Verge Hospital launch blockchain-based IFV system. The Vechain team and DNV have joined forces with Verge Hospital to launch blockchain-enabled in vitro virtualization solution dubbed MyBaby. The team claims MyBaby is designed to bring transparency, foster data security, and more in the IFV process, according to a blog post on June 2nd. This is one of the things, but this is exactly what I was referring to when I said proven use case and huge markets. Check for yourself through this list. They have partnerships with Walmart China, Renault, BMW, some smaller partnership with Adidas, for example. They have every freaking thing. I should just start to look through them, and there's multiple websites for different partnerships. They had a partnership with Louis Vuitton Moet Hennessy because one of the co-founders of Vechain actually used to work for Louis Vuitton China before. The CEO of Vechain, Sunny Lu, used to be the CIO of Louis Vuitton China. The connections are huge. Renault, Fang Huang, Aitao Takwe, whatever, Bright Food. Just look through it for a little second. You'll be surprised with what type of partnerships these guys have. It's really quite devastating / amazing, depending on how you look at it. Now, of course, most of what's going to happen with Vechain will depend on what's going to happen to Bitcoin, as Vechain is still not independent completely, even though they're building use cases and, I guess, building out themselves if they're independent. The market for VET, the crypto, is still relying on Bitcoin, so I would say, of course, check Bitcoin as a base layer before actually making any decision to buy or sell Vechain. But I am saying that Vechain will survive regardless of what happens to the market, because Vechain as a company will thrive regardless of what happens. There will always be this necessity. And it's again another little confirmation that crypto ain't going nowhere. The only way is up. And as a price target, I'm going to say $1 for Vechain this year is definitely not too crazy. For me, it kind of is, because the majority of my VET was bought at half a cent or so. But longer term, I would still say $4 so for VET is even not that crazy per freaking crypto. But of course, we're going to stay with $2 to $3 medium term. $1 this year is definitely possible, even though we are at 14 cents. $2 to $3 medium term, which means about 1.5 years or so if we're still in a bull run. And a longer term of $4, which is still ridiculous if you kind of consider it from this perspective forward. $4 is definitely possible, in my opinion, for a little bit of a longer term. I think even $7, maybe eventually, not this run, not this year, is possible, but that's going to be a little bit of a waning game, and that's too much speculation for my personal taste. Guys, that was it for today's video. Hopefully you all enjoyed it. If you did, make sure you press the like button and subscribe. My question of today is, what crypto would you like me to talk about next? Let me know down below in the comment section.